When was the last time you actually sat in utter quiet and noticed the absence of sound? Not the faint, high-pitched whine lurking somewhere behind your ears, not the steady, low hum that seems fused into your skull, not the ringing that greets you at 2 a.m. and lingers until your alarm goes off in the morning. I'm talking about genuine silence. If you're watching this, there's a strong chance you can't even recall what that truly feels like. Here's something crucial to grasp before we go further. That persistent ringing isn't random. It's not just a result of aging, and it's certainly not something you must tolerate for the rest of your life. That sound is your body sending a precise, urgent signal. The issue isn't that the message is unclear. The problem is most medical professionals aren't trained to interpret it. What you're experiencing is a nutritional distress alert. Your auditory system, the nerves, blood vessels, and microscopic hair cells deep inside your cochlea, is running low. Your brain, ingenious but desperate, has started filling the silence with phantom noise. Today, I'm going to decode that signal. We'll explore exactly which nutrients your body lacks, why conventional medicine often overlooks this, and what steps you can take starting tonight to begin lowering the internal volume. Consider the case of Gloria, 71, a retired schoolteacher, sharp-witted and full of humor. She came to my office about 14 months ago. Her first words? "Doctor, I feel like there's a television stuck on in my head and someone lost the remote." She had battled tinnitus for nearly 4 years. She had consulted 2 ear specialists, received a white noise machine, a referral to a therapist for adjustment counseling, and even a pamphlet about hearing aids. Not once had anyone asked her about her diet, nutrient levels, or circulation. When I ordered a detailed nutritional panel, the results were unsurprising to me, but astonishing to her. Gloria was severely deficient in 3 critical nutrients. Her inflammation markers were high, blood flow to her inner ear was compromised, and her nervous system was misfiring. This wasn't a hearing problem, it was a breakdown in biological infrastructure. The transformation was remarkable. 11 weeks after correcting those deficiencies, Gloria reported, "It's still there, but it feels like someone finally turned the volume down." By the 5th month, she described it as a quiet whisper rather than a deafening roar. That wasn't luck. That was nutritional science performing exactly as it should. To understand why certain deficiencies trigger ringing, we need a quick tour of one of the most delicate systems in your body. Deep within the skull, the cochlea is a fluid-filled chamber shaped like a tiny snail shell. Thousands of microscopic sensory hair cells line its interior, converting vibrations into electrical signals that your brain perceives as sound. Each hair cell is nourished by the smallest blood vessels in your body, narrow enough that red blood cells pass in single file. A single hair is thicker than these vessels. When blood flow is sluggish, inflamed, or deprived of essential nutrients, the hair cells don't just fail. They misfire, sending erratic signals to the brain. The brain, designed to interpret incoming information, perceives this as sound. That is the ringing, the hissing, the unrelenting tone. Research in the Journal of Neurological Sciences shows tinnitus isn't merely an ear malfunction, it's also the brain losing its ability to filter erroneous signals. Prolonged faulty input rewires the brain, normalizing the noise. This phenomenon, known as auditory cortex reorganization, explains why tinnitus feels permanent. Yet the brain's plasticity means it can rewire again if given the right raw materials. Let's start with the first nutrient, magnesium, the nervous system's off switch. Most people never link it to hearing. Within the cochlea, NMDA receptors regulate the intensity of auditory nerve signals. When magnesium levels are sufficient, it blocks these receptors, preventing overactivity. Low magnesium leaves them wide open. Every sound, every vibration triggers exaggerated neural firing. The brain, overwhelmed, generates phantom noise to compensate, a process scientists call glutamate excitotoxicity. I call it an auditory meltdown. Shockingly, studies estimate over 50% of adults over 60 do not get enough magnesium. It's not just about skipping vegetables. Modern farming has depleted soil magnesium to a fraction of what it was 50 years ago. You could eat spinach daily and still be deficient. Gloria noted something chilling. Her ringing worsened on stressful days. Stress hormones drain magnesium from cells, precisely explaining why her symptoms fluctuated with tension. The greater your stress, the faster your nutrient stores drain, and the louder that persistent ringing becomes. For magnesium, I guided Gloria toward meals rich in dark leafy greens, raw pumpkin seeds, black beans, wild-caught halibut, and avocado. Not supplements, but complete meals where the elements needed for absorption were naturally present. Next, vitamin B12, the insulation your nerves desperately need. Imagine an aging electrical wire in an old house, its rubber coating cracked and fraying after decades. Electricity traveling through that cable doesn't flow cleanly. It leaks, sparks, and creates interference. That is exactly what happens to your auditory nerve when B12 is too low. Vitamin B12 is critical for maintaining the myelin sheath, the protective layer around nerve fibers. When B12 levels drop, the sheath deteriorates. Signals traveling from your inner ear to the brain leak. Your brain doesn't interpret this as silence. It perceives it as sound, a persistent, source-free, maddening noise. Here's where modern medicine often fails. Standard lab tests may flag B12 deficiency below 200 picograms per milliliter. Yet functional neurology research shows neurological symptoms, tinnitus, brain fog, tingling in extremities, can appear when levels are under 400. In older adults, I look for levels between 600 and 900 before considering it sufficient. Gloria's B12 measured 310 when she first visited. Her doctor told her it was normal. Seniors are particularly at risk because the stomach produces less intrinsic factor with age. Intrinsic factor is the protein needed for your gut to absorb B12. Without it, even consuming beef, eggs, and salmon won't prevent cellular-level starvation. Many older adults require forms that bypass the digestive tract, like sublingual methylcobalamin, or in some cases, injections. Medical guidance is essential for individual needs. Dietary sources include wild-caught salmon, sardines, pasture-raised eggs, clams, and nutritional yeast. Now zinc, the antioxidant armor protecting your inner ear. You may be surprised to learn that your cochlea holds one of the highest concentrations of zinc in the body. This isn't by chance. Converting sound waves into electrical signals produces immense oxidative stress, essentially creating free radicals. Zinc is the main antioxidant defending cochlear hair cells from this damage. Without it, these cells age prematurely, malfunction, and send the phantom signals we've discussed. A landmark study in the American Journal of Otolaryngology found chronic tinnitus patients had markedly lower serum zinc than healthy controls. Supplementation led to measurable improvements in many participants. Yet zinc absorption can be sabotaged. You may eat zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, beef, chickpeas, or cashews, but high phytate intake from refined grains or heavy coffee consumption can block absorption. On paper, you're nutrient-rich. In practice, your body may be depleted. Furthermore, certain common over-the-counter medications, including some pain relievers, can directly damage cochlear hair cells through oxidative stress. These are known as ototoxic substances. Long-term medication users experiencing tinnitus should consult their physicians about potential ototoxic effects. Vitamin D3 is the repair foreman nobody calls. If magnesium is the off switch, B12 the insulation, and zinc the armor, D3 ensures repair crews arrive. D3 is more than a vitamin. It functions as a neurosteroid, regulating gene expression in the nervous system, including genes controlling inflammation along auditory pathways. Low D3 permits chronic low-grade neurological inflammation to persist. Tiny blood vessels supplying the cochlea remain constricted, repairs stall, and the stressed auditory nerve stays inflamed. Research from universities in Europe and Asia consistently shows adults with persistent tinnitus have lower D3 than those without it. This deficiency is widespread among seniors due to limited sun exposure, sunscreen use, northern latitudes, or mostly indoor lifestyles. Testing 25-hydroxyvitamin D is vital. For neurological and immune health, I aim for 50 to 80 nanograms per milliliter. Many older adults sit between 18 and 30 and are told this is fine. It is not for your auditory nerve. Food sources include wild-caught fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified foods. Sense omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA found in fatty fish, serve two essential roles for your ears. First, they combat systemic inflammation, allowing the tiniest blood vessels to expand and transport blood more efficiently. Second, they enhance the fluidity of cell membranes throughout the body, including the delicate hair cells in the inner ear, improving responsiveness, resilience, and proper function. Think of omega-3s as the oil keeping your entire auditory system running smoothly. Gloria admitted she rarely ate fish and had relied on a low-quality fish oil supplement from a discount store for years. Unfortunately, fish oil quality varies dramatically, and rancid oil, which is all too common, can actually increase oxidative stress instead of reducing it. We transitioned her to a high-quality, third-party tested omega-3 supplement and incorporated 2 weekly servings of wild-caught salmon into her diet. This became a pivotal turning point: the circulation factor. Nutrients are essential, but there's another layer: circulation. Even perfect nutrition cannot reach the inner ear without healthy blood flow. For adults over 60, poor circulation and nutrient deficiency feed into one another. Low magnesium causes constricted vessels. Insufficient D3 allows inflammation to damage vessel walls. Lack of omega-3 thickens blood. As a result, the fragile vessels in your inner ear are the first to suffer. 3 natural vasodilators play a crucial role in my nutritional protocols. First, ginger. Fresh ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogaols that multiple studies show improve microcirculation. A 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger in hot water or cooked into meals daily provides gentle yet powerful support. Second, garlic. Allicin, found in raw garlic, reduces platelet aggregation, thinning blood and facilitating flow through tiny vessels. I recommend 2 cloves daily, raw or lightly cooked. Third, ginkgo biloba. One of the most studied natural agents for tinnitus, clinical trials demonstrate meaningful improvements, especially when symptoms relate to reduced cochlear circulation, by enhancing microvascular blood flow. Always consult your physician before starting supplements, particularly if you take blood-thinning medications, as ginkgo can interact with certain drugs. Once the pipeline is open and raw materials are delivered, the inner ear begins to respond. Few people know this, but the cochlea has a biological clock tied to your circadian rhythm. During sleep, the body enters a phase of deep cellular repair. The auditory system participates in this process. Hair cells attempt to regenerate, auditory nerves work to re-insulate, and the brain recalibrates. But repair requires raw materials. Without sufficient magnesium, B12, zinc, and D3 circulating overnight, restoration stalls. The brain perceives this incomplete repair and amplifies the error signal, explaining why tinnitus often seems louder in late evening or early morning hours. The body is signaling a need for repair materials. This is why your final meal of the day is critical. A nutrient-dense early evening dinner, rich in the specific compounds your auditory system requires, effectively restocks your internal pharmacy just in time for the overnight repair shift. Think of it as supplying the crew before they arrive. Here's the practical example: the auditory rescue plate. Start with a palm-sized fillet of wild-caught baked salmon, supplying omega-3s, D3, and B12. All 3 deficiencies addressed in a single protein source. Accompany it with a generous bed of baby spinach and steamed broccoli, covering magnesium and a wide range of antioxidants to shield cochlear hair cells from oxidative stress. Sprinkle raw pumpkin seeds on top, a highly bioavailable zinc source also providing magnesium, a double boost. Dress with cold-pressed olive oil, fresh lemon juice, and plenty of grated fresh ginger to support circulation and open the pipelines. Add half an avocado on the side for additional magnesium, healthy fats for nutrient absorption, and anti-inflammatory benefits. This is not a complex meal. Preparation takes less than 25 minutes, and the biological impact on your auditory system is substantial. Gloria prepared a version of this meal 4 to 5 times per week starting in month 2. She shared, "Doctor, it's the first time food has ever felt like medicine to me." That's exactly what it is. Be honest with yourself. This is not an instant solution. Your auditory nerve did not become depleted in a single week and will not fully recover in a week. This is a deliberate, systematic process of restocking a starved system and reopening blocked channels. From my experience, initial changes, a softening of the ringing or brief pockets of quiet, typically appear between weeks 3 and 7. Full, meaningful improvement often requires 3 to 4 months of consistent nutritional support. Remember this: tinnitus is not a life sentence. It is a message, your body's extraordinary wisdom signaling that something needs attention. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.